Welcome to your best bets, the week of the fifth major on the PGA Tour this week, the John Deere Classic. We'll be excited to talk about that tournament tonight. We're going to review Xander Schauffele's latest win, which is his first individual PGA Tour win in quite a while. We'll get to Xander, all things about the Travelers, and I'm sure we'll throw in a little LIV Golf conversation as well, because what's an episode of your best bet without it? Here joining me after a week off, Johnny Strouser. Johnny, how are we? Internet is good for this second, so we need to get through this thing as quickly as possible before it crashes.
I'm good with that. Things are good, and let's just fingers crossed that this internet that I pay a lot of money per month for works for the entire hour.
The Travelers Championship last week, Zach and I talked about it pretty briefly, but we kind of reiterated that it's really becoming kind of an up-and-comer tournament on tour, a nice second-tier tournament, really nice fields now, and usually provides an exciting Sunday, an exciting finish. And it did that again yesterday. A lot of angles to talk about, but I guess we'll start with Xander Schauffele with his sixth career tour win, if I have that correct. And I know this is really a specific stat, but this is his first win that wasn't a limited field, that wasn't a no-cut event, that wasn't a team event since his first win at the Greenbrier back in 2017. Did this prove anything to you, or is this what I mean, was it like, okay, I needed to see this, or did this do nothing for you at all?
No, it was something I felt that we as golf fans needed to see from Xander. I mean, you're right. A lot of his wins have come in limited field events or no cut events, and the fields are typically good for those. However, I think there's something to that with how the guys play those types of events. But this being just a regular tour stop, him to win in a full field event and a pretty solid field, all things considered, the week after the United States Open. He played good, pair of 7 under 63s the first 2 days, really just set the pace. And he played solid golf coming in. I mean, I know he had a few mistakes here and there, but you're not going to play perfect golf for 72 holes. And he was the first 36. He was as good as could be, and just kind of got out in front of everybody and hung on. And I think if you look at it, and just said 19 under par, 2-shot win, as a whole, you can't really look at as close as it ended up getting on Sunday, which actually had a pretty nice ending to it. Nice dramatic ending. Well, I don't know about nice, but a dramatic ending if you didn't have a ticket on one of those guys. But this is a good win, and this just kind of shows me that, yeah, he can win these events. He should win these events. I mean, the sixth win, he should probably, if you look at the pace of some other guys, should have maybe closer to 9 or 10 wins. But this is good. I think it kind of taught himself to play well for the 4 rounds, and he had to play with a lead every single day, which was impressive in and of itself.
Yeah, the 6 wins at 28 years old. Listen, it's tough to be a top 10 player. You're expected to do a lot, and he's been a top 10 player for a good couple of years now, and people expect a lot of him. And I guess one of those things is to regularly win when you get in contention. And we always talk about it. You get in contention so much, so often, it's impossible to win them all. You would think a couple more would have dropped his way, like you mentioned, but they just haven't. And whether it's his doing or another player snatching it from him. But yeah, it's just the world we live in. We have high expectations for all these guys that are in the top 10. We expect them to contend all the time and win all the time. He certainly had a little bit of help on Sunday. I know a favorite of both of ours, a guy that we've bet on as first round leader. I actually did this week. And it really felt like it was close for Sahith, and it was right there. And it just felt like after he made the birdie from the divot on the 71st hole to take the lead, that I was like, this is his, and this is meant to be. And he literally drives it in just the most god awful place on the 72nd hole, and it's really just a tragic disaster from that point on. It was pretty tough to watch.
That was really, really painful to watch. And you're right. We've talked about him. We like him. He's got a whole bunch of game. Was a great player in college, and he's could have won in Phoenix this year, and now this one, which you could say the same thing there. But yeah, he hit his tee shot left into the bunker, and he hit it right into like the face of it, and left himself with pretty much no chance to reach the green. So instead of being ultra safe and just chipping out into the fairway and then hitting a wedge onto the green and trying to make a putt for par, he got a little aggressive and mishit it and just butchered the hole, and it almost made the putt for bogey. I mean, he actually would have made kind of a remarkable bogey there if he had made that, but unfortunately didn't. And he's still in that learning phase of becoming a tour player, but he's got worlds of talent. And I think this scar is gonna make him better going forward. But that was really just sickening to watch, because I mean, I don't root for or against Xander. I'm just kind of impartial either way, but I kind of rooted for Thagala to win and get that first win as a rookie, and just to see it where he played so good on the weekend, and for him to finish like that it is heartbreaking. But hopefully he'll come back, and figure out a way in the future there to get the ball in the fairway and then somehow make par. Because if he does that, there's he's going to put the pressure on Xander to who made birdie on the last hole, to have to make par there, and that I think it changed the game completely.
Yeah, it did, and I think it allowed Xander to kind of feel a little bit more freed up on his approach shot. I have a take. I know you said you're kind of unbiased when it comes to Xander. You're kind of in the middle, and really I am too. I've talked about this before. I don't care about Xander. I just don't care. He's a great player. He's super solid, but he's a fucking robot out there, and I feel nothing watching him. I feel nothing. He played amazing. Hit 63 out of 72 greens for the week. That's incredible golf. I mean, at a track that can be pretty tricky. But I don't feel anything watching him. I'm bored. I'm bored watching him. I mean, and that's probably a testament to how good he is. But Thagala, like, I got up and I was excited. I pumped my fist on the 71st hole. Like I was rooting for that guy, because I feel something when I watch him. I'm like, I like this guy. Like, he's likable. He's got a personality. And the Xander and Cantley types, I just like, yeah. I mean, that's cool. You guys are awesome. But I'm not ever outwardly rooting for them, and I think that just I think there's something about their personality that just it doesn't come out, and unless it's the Ryder Cup, then we've seen Cantley kind of really get into it before, and even Xander as well. But I don't know. That's just my take on that. And the next time Xander's against a young upstart, I'll probably be rooting for the upstart.
That's fair. I don't mind that. And you're right. Is we're so used to over the years the pros having no personality or anything, and Pat Cantley. You're right. Xander's, they're just very businesslike, and they just kind of get kind of robotic to watch and everything. But I don't mind the Thagala showing the emotion. He got to the point, though, most of the weekend he was dropping clubs right after impact, and I'm not a huge fan of that, because then you kind of develop that weird kind of habit that if it's not perfect. But I don't mind the reaction. I don't mind when he was broken up after losing in Phoenix and something like this. I mean, this is you're right. It is good stuff. This is good TV drama. This is the stuff that that's great for the PGA Tour, as opposed to the other tour that we're going to talk about here pretty soon. But this is the stuff that is fun to watch, and I like it. I hope these newer guys, when they fist pumping and slamming clubs and showing emotion, because we as sports fans in general, we like to watch that with with our football players and basketball players and whatnot. And why not bring it over a little bit into golf?
Yeah, I think he's really earned a lot of fans along the way. These tough losses. I know, the Phoenix loss was really unfortunate. He had a couple tough bounces there down the stretch, but Tim was there, and he said the crowd was really, really behind him at Phoenix. Obviously, it benefited us because we had Scheffler that week, and but you could tell in the crowd that there was just a buzz around what Tagala was doing. And we'll talk about him a little bit as it pertains to this week at the Deere. Now one of the favorites for this week. What else about the Travelers? Rory, man, he really bailed pretty much midday Friday. He was getting out of that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I think he just ran out of gas. I think that the weekend in Brookline, where he had to grind quite a bit, that took a lot out of him. And then you play really good that first day at Travelers there in the morning, and I think it just kind of mentally and physically just kind of wore out. Just wasn't feeling it the rest of the way there, and that stinks because he had a pretty good stretch there, but at some point it's going to level out a little bit, and it's disappointing. But give him a couple weeks off here, and we'll see where he's at for the Open Championship at St. Andrews. But yeah, that was pretty interesting. The amateur though, Michael Thornbjornsson.
Yeah.
He's from New England there. I don't know what college he goes to, but end up finishing fourth place, I think. Solo fourth, 15 under par, and 68, 65, 66, 66. And that's some golfing right there. And this is I'm sure he's going to be coming out on tour here pretty soon, within the next couple of years here. So these are the guys that it's fun to see these guys play well in these PGA Tour events. And man, I don't think we've seen one finish in the top 10 in quite a while here. But these are the guys that the PGA Tour, they need to figure out a way to protect these guys, because they're going to go somewhere here and to make that money. And if they got guaranteed money, that's where it's going to be interesting. But great playing by him. I just thought that was pretty cool that he hung in there. And then I think there was a par 5 on the back 9. He kind of made a mess of and made bogey, but he was only a couple back there, I think, with like 8 holes to play. So,
yeah.
But good event overall though. This is neat. I like this event because it gets good crowds and usually gets a pretty good field, and the golf course is great viewing. So I certainly enjoy watching it year after year, especially in the last several years. I think since the Spieth Greller rake toss, when he hold out and beat Berger in the playoff a few years back, I think that's kind of when I was like, this event's awesome.
Yeah. Thorbornson goes to Stanford. He looks extremely pro ready at this point, and fair point by you to talk about. These are the type of guys that the PGA Tour needs to be holding on to and focusing on. The Travelers notoriously makes, they have spots for these types of players in their fields every year. I want to see more events give these young guys, that's the future of the tour, more spots instead of your like fucking Kevin Stadler and Omar Uresti. I mean, I'm serious. Like this is one of the problems of the tour. And I'm sure after last week's show, everyone thinks I'm a PGA Tour stan, but that's not true. Like the tour does a lot of things that are outdated, and this is one of the things that they could really improve upon is just changing the system to a little bit to give more of the young guys. I saw a really good comparison on Twitter, and I know you follow him, Kyle Porter with CBS. He's a really good Twitter follower for golf, and he was talking about compared to like the NBA, like when John Morant came to the league, and say he played in he was relegated to G League, but oh man, we can't make a spot for him on the Grizzlies roster for whatever reason. And it's kind of a nice similar, it's similar to what these guys go through in golf. Like there's no spots for them on the tour unless it's the whole process of getting there, and not being able to feature them. So I hope more events try to make exemptions available for these types of players, because it really is the future of the tour. And now you have a true threat in LIV. So you really got to protect these players. And I don't know, that's something that I think they could really improve upon.
100% agree. I mean, and I like that comparison. I was thinking of just somebody like that, like an NBA guy. He finishes college, but he's got to play in the G League for 1 year. I mean, 1 year of that, no matter how well he's played in college, no matter how well he's played in the G League, he's got no path to the NBA until the second year because they can't figure out a spot for him. And that is a joke there. And like you look at Pearson Coody, who went to the University of Texas. Him and his twin brother Parker, they won the national championship during his time there. He's a phenomenal amateur player. He won on the Corn Ferry Tour this last week. But yeah, he graduated with his quote unquote PGA Tour U, which is a point system that they get for playing college and amateur events, and has no chance really unless he wins 3 times on the Corn Ferry Tour for the rest of the season to get a Battlefield promotion and get promoted to the PGA Tour. You can't do that. You can't, especially with how much money that these guys will need to make. And since professional golf is not guaranteed money, you still got to set these guys up for some success. And when you've got this great talent like this, you've got to figure out a way to get them in there. And you're right. You named a bunch of names that had their chance, and you could make the argument that say, you know what, it's earned, but you've got to give them opportunities, whether you give them a limited amount of starts and then you give them full Corn Ferry Tour status, something like that, because LIV Golf's going to jump in there, and they've already started doing it. They signed that one good Spanish player out of Oklahoma State who just turned pro. He went straight to LIV Golf on a 3-year thing. And who knows what will happen after that, but it's kind of scary to see. This is what could happen if they don't change their ways and figure out a method to help these young guys get the starts that they need. That doesn't mean they need the guaranteed money, but just give them the opportunities that they need based on their amateur golf play. If they're great amateurs, just give them the chance, and they'll generally figure out a way.
Right. It's a little bit of what happened to Zalatoris last year when his great play got him into a position where he couldn't play in the FedEx Cup. I mean, it's like things like that. It's this system that is a bit archaic, and it's still rewarding all these players that are well past their prime and giving them starts. I hate to point out Kevin Sadler. I think he's in the field this week. It's just guys like that where they haven't really earned it, in recent years to even earn any sort of status, and they're still hanging on compared to these guys that are really good young players. And that's, I was going to mention that the young guy from Oklahoma State that got snatched up by LIV, and we saw it with Pyatt. I mean, it's hard to get starts, and these guys are getting guaranteed money now coming out of school and going to LIV, so you can understand it. So this is where the PGA Tour's got to step up and really offer something, I think, for these types of guys. Anything else from Travelers?
Yeah, one more thing here. How would you like friend of the podcast here, Jason Kokrak, on Friday was missing the cut, hits his second shot into the par 4, hits it 44 yards over the green, over the people, over the road, into the cart path, into the shit, into the trees or whatever. Instead of, taking his drop, chipping it on the green, 2-putting for his double, whatever, signing his card, missing the cut, just hits it over the green, walks to the parking lot, puts his clubs in the trunk, and drives away.
Amazing.
That is, I mean, I don't like it, but I like it. I mean, if you're going to go, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just like, when you hear those stories of the people winning the lottery and they're like, I'm going to go take a dump on my boss's desk and just walk out or something like that, So, this is just kind of what that was, just the ultimate, like disrespect to the tour there. But,
he's still not in the field, though.
He's going to be. I mean, he's not.
I don't know what's happening.
I know. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
That's interesting. You'd think, because he has he had the Saudi Golf logo last year when he won at Colonial, had it on his shirt, and we still haven't seen him in a field yet. So that's all I got for that. But I just thought that was pretty funny story.
Yeah, that I think the thought on Twitter was he was pretty much headed straight toward the LIV tour, but yeah, hasn't come out yet with anything with Kokrak. Yeah, nothing else for me for Travelers. We talked about Rory. The coverage on Sunday was still focused on Pat Cantlay in the back nine when he was blowing up. I didn't quite get that. That was kind of weird. But that's, you're always going to have some coverage takes, unfortunately. I know you weren't on last week, obviously, and I know you haven't got a chance to listen to it, but we went quite deep on the PGA Tour and the LIV Golf the LIV Golf thing. I bet a good 25-30 minutes, and the Zacks made some fair points. I still disagree with them. Since that, I mean, we recorded last Monday. That was the day Brooks announced he was going to be joining LIV. Since then, Matthew Wolf's officially joined. Carlos Ortiz. I don't think that's anything major, but again, these these keep adding up a little by little. Any new thoughts or takes on LIV since the last time you were on 2 weeks ago?
No, I mean, it's the same thing. They're gonna get the guys that after DJ started this, and realize that this is supposedly legit. They're all gonna. A lot of them are going to defect, and it just sucks again as a golf fan that this just totally weakens the field, that these guys want to go over there and play in these exhibitions, and it weakens it, because Brooks is pretty much a non-factor in regular events. He's gotten, he's been injured and less of a factor in majors as he has been, but he's still a name and everything. So it stinks not being able to see Brooks and DJ and Mickelson and a lot of these guys playing. And I think it's, if the PGA Tour doesn't allow any competing events like they seem to not want to do, which is totally up to them and everything, then it's going to continue to get, it's going to weaken these fields. But as long as you can continually get the fans and the media are all kind of they're obviously gravitating to the PGA Tour for obvious reasons and in droves and everything. So the drama that is created in these events. I mean, since a lot of these have defected, I mean, we've had Canadian Open, we've had the U.S. Open, and we've had the Travelers, and they've all been really good events. I mean, they've been good to watch, and honestly, I might catch a little bit of it since I'm off. I think the first round of the LIV Golf event, Pumpkin Ridge. I didn't watch the first one, but I don't really have any desire to watch much of a 54-hole, the shotgun start thing. I mean, it doesn't seem like there's much substance to it, and it just all seems, kind of fake and everything like that. So I am, I'm if they don't let the PGA Tour guys play in these events, I am steadfastly against the LIV Golf stuff. I mean, just for the fact that I'm a golf fan, and I want to watch the best in the world compete in these events week in and week out. And if they can't figure out a way to coexist and allow them to play into both, which it doesn't matter really what I think on that aspect of it. It's just sad. It's just kind of disheartening, and I hope that ends up they figure out something here.
I made the point last week, and I'll say it again to you, that I'm just not that interested in watching golf, quote unquote competitive golf that has no stakes, and that feels like an exhibition. I mean, if I want to watch an exhibition, I'll watch the JP McManus Cup, whatever it is, overseas this week with Tiger. It just feels like golf without a soul at this point. And tournament like the Travelers, there's real stakes. the U.S. Open, real stakes, going back to Canadian Open. It feels like there's something there that is meaningful, and I didn't see it in the first LIV event. I don't think I'll see it this week in Portland. I mean, I'm dying to know if the Stingers are going to be able to follow up their win in Linden with another win this week in Portland and take down, the Crushers and the Magistics. So, I mean, I can't wait to see how that turns out.
Oh God, it's just, yeah, I don't know. I just, these guys, I know they're making their business decisions and everything like that, but you know what? At some point, or I guess you've got to choose whether you want to take care of yourself, your family, whatever, financially. But I mean, these guys have gone their entire lives. Generally, they've gone their entire lives competing, whether it's in Pee Wee football or Little League baseball or junior golf, and they've rose up through the ranks here. And then they play, and into their 20s, 30s, 40s, whatever they are, they just decide, I'm not really that interested in helping my, I guess enhancing my career, getting more wins, more top tens. And it's just, it's just kind of that empty, soulless feeling there. And, it's just interesting. But I know, and you said one thing to me is you showed me a tweet that Henrik Stenson is rumored to be in negotiations for that. I mean, this is a Ryder Cup captain. These guys spend their entire careers to make the Ryder Cup team. You build that Ryder Cup legacy, and then to be named a captain, which doesn't happen to many human beings that's ever existed there. I mean, what do you think of that? I mean, that really just, I mean, Henrik Stenson, I don't give a shit what tour he plays on, or because he's pretty much a non-factor anymore. But my God, to give up your captaincy for a bunch of dollars.
Yeah, that's you made a good point. I mean, for a lot of these guys, besides winning a major professionally, it's the pinnacle of a lot of these guys' career to get, like Steve Stricker, that's going to be the pinnacle of his career was leading the Ryder Cup team to a victory. Like a guy like Paul McGinley, I forget which year he was the captain for Europe, but that will be
Belfry,
the Belfry. That will be the peak of his career. So that one floored me a little bit to think that he might give that up, and now it's got me a little bit worried about the future of the Ryder Cup. I'm if certain guys go, that's fine. I'm cool with that, but like it's maybe my favorite event to watch, and I know you're right there with me. And I just think there's a future where I could see that's not going to be the same event. Part of this will be what happens with the DP World Tour, if it gets bought out by the PGA Tour, or if it's going to potentially go under LIV Golf's reign. I know Pelly came out and said that right now he's staying pat. So there's a lot of dominoes to fall there. But yeah, I am worried about the Ryder Cup because of all these things that are happening. I just can't imagine Stenson would do that, but we'll have to monitor that one. Yeah, I got nothing else on LIV. It's I will probably watch a little bit just to kind of see if the feel's a little different than it was in London, with it being in the United States. I don't know if there's going to be any sort of hostility out there with the fans. I don't know how that's going to go. I'm intrigued though, just to see, just from a curiosity standpoint, to see what happens.
Yep.
There's really no other news in the golf world, so I guess we'll talk about the John Deere Classic. This is, it's routinely the event right before the Open, and then that's where we fall this week. So it's kind of it's a nice break from some bigger events, and notoriously low scoring out here. To me, it's a who's hitting their irons best and who can make a lot of 8 to 12 foot putts usually is the guy that you're looking at. And if you have to scramble this week, you're not going to be winning anyway. So, 20 to 25 under, somewhere in there. And course history, it seems to matter here. You've seen the same guys play well, win here: Steve Stricker, Zach Johnson, Ryan Moore, those kind of guys, Jordan Spieth, always play well at this type of course. Anything else you're seeing for this week or you're looking for?
No, like you said, it's going to be a lot of birdies. So you want to look for guys who are good iron players. So strokes gained approach, and really this is some of the easiest greens to putt on the PGA Tour. They're bent grass greens. They don't have a ton of undulation. So, you got to hit it to 10, 15 feet or closer, and you got to make a lot of putts. And you look, like you said, Steve Stricker, one of the best putters in the modern day. Zach Johnson, always good with his wedges, and can be a very, very good putter at times. So yeah, we're gonna look at that. It's gonna be a bunch of birdies, and it's just who can make the most putts in the end, because that's usually how this championship ends up being determined.
It's such a hard combination to find to the guys that can really give themselves a bunch of chances, but then converting those. Someone like my guy Luke List, who last week knocked down the flagstick, led the field in strokes gained approach, then was just abominable with the putter. So you want the guy that can get you both, because I think most of the time you're getting the ball in play here. I did see there's a par 5 scoring matters a little bit here, as far as who's taking advantage of the par 5s. But yeah, I think this is your iron and make your 10 footers this week. The problem with the John Deere, and maybe it's a problem with some, is this can be an unwatchable event because it's just not a good field. You're going to have a lot of your normal middle of the road guys, bottom tier guys, but there's just not a lot of top tier players here, especially this year. So it is a tough event to watch. I don't know how much I'll see of this one because I'll be at the lake this weekend, but I do enjoy betting these tournaments. I've talked about this. Literally, if you have a reason to bet anyone, if you have a conviction to bet anyone from 50 to 1 to 100 to 1 to up to 200 to 1, this is the week where you could conceivably say, hey, last week they finished 12th. Oh, the week before they finished 32nd. They're gaining strokes on approach. That's my guy this week, and it could work out.
Yeah, I mean, really, we sometimes with a lot of these events we say, once we get into the X category, you can't bet these guys to win because the chances of them winning are remote. But you just need a guy who hits his irons well, has a hot putter, and you could find a guy way down the list. So this one's going to be hard, I think, to choose a winner, because we have, in a typical event, you've got maybe 30 to 35 guys, maybe 40 who can win. This is probably closer to 60, maybe more than that can win there. And there's a lot of motivation to win this event. I mean, with the weaker field, but I think so many in the top 10, if you haven't gotten into the British Open, they'll award the last couple spots in there. So there's some motivation for these guys to play well like that. So we'll try to find somebody down the board here, but it very well could be middle to back third of the board here, as much of a chance as any of the top guys.
It feels like if there's any event where it's 50 to 1 to 100 to 1, even higher, it's going to be this week. So we'll try to mine through a couple of these guys that might have a better chance than some. Under the 30 to 1, here are the guys that we're looking at. Adam Hadwin is the favorite to win this golf tournament.
What?
It's inconceivable, right? I like Adam Hadwin. I like him a lot. He's been playing well.
Nothing against Adam Hadwin.
No, but 10 to 1 for him to win a tournament is fucking insane. Webb, I thought Webb would be the favorite. By the way, Berger was he withdrew today. He was going to be the favorite, but I thought Webb would be the favorite. He's at 12 to 1. Christian Bezadenhout at plus 2,000. Denny McCarthy, 22 to 1. Charles Howell, 22 to 1. Mav McNeely, 25 to 1, and our guy Sahith Thagala at 25. Is anybody on the list worth a bet here?
The only one I would consider at these numbers, and I wouldn't like it, is Webb. I mean, Webb's playing much better. Still not making all the putts that he had in the past 2 years, but he's the guy who I'd kind of trust the most based on how he's playing and everything. But I mean, do I like Denny McCarthy this week? Yes, I do. Do I like Mav McNeely? Yes, I do. Do I like Sahith Tagala this week? There's a very good chance that he could get the win this week. You know, karma could kind of come back and help him out, and he could get that win. But at 25-1, though, for a guy who has not won, I mean, that's
Right.
that scares me to have to bet on that. So I like some of the names. If I had to pick one, and I don't love the number, so you may have to shop around if you do like Webb. It would be Webb Simpson based on his recent form and the guy I could trust on a Sunday.
And he did play reasonable last week at Travelers, and he's been playing better than he was even a couple months ago. I do like Bezadenhout if there's a course where, we know he can't drive the ball well. He's short and crooked, but he is a good iron player, and he is a great putter. And but again, I can't bet 20-1. Problem is, none of these guys have won recently. Bezadenhout's never won. Denny's never won. Mav, Sahith never won. So it's hard to just put your faith in these guys. I like a lot of them on paper, but I don't think I'll be going to the well with any of these guys. Unfortunately, it's just too much. It's too low, and the return just doesn't look. It's the win equity is what I'm talking about. It's just not. It's not worth it there. 35-50, Brendan Todd, Adam Long, Scott Stallings, Jason Day, Patrick Rogers at 35-1. Nick Hardy, he's had a good couple of weeks. He's at 40. Lucas Glover, defending champ, at 40. Nick Taylor, Cam Davis, Ches, and John Hunt, 45. Who you got there? If anyone.
Yeah. Okay. So Brendan Todd does fit the profile, but is Brendan Todd going to win? I mean, he's a good iron player. He's a really good putter. There's signs of life that he's a decent golfer again. So, but again, it's the 35-1 if that's what you want to bite on. That's a tough one for me. I do like him though, so I might look at something in the top 10 or top 20 range. I'm not going to bet him to win, but Scott Stallings, I mean, 35-1 for a guy who doesn't win, but he's playing good golf. He's playing really good golf, and he's putting the ball really well. I could easily see a top 10 finish here. I think he actually backdoored a top 10 this last week with a good final round there. So he's playing well, and he's putting the ball well. So if you could, carry that over, I just don't know if he's a guy who could win the event there. And then he won last year, but Lucas Glover, he'll fit the course well because obviously he won there last year, but he's played well other times. His game isn't isn't peaking as it had last year at this point and even recently, but he's a name I'm going to look out for. So those are the three names that I like. I don't love. But if I had to target anybody, it'd be those. Now, the question is for you, is Patrick Rogers going to be a feature on your card here?
I think he has to be. I mean, it's a stupid number for sure, but he nearly won his first event here when Bryson won his first event. I think it was 2017. They had a bit of a duel. Rogers did play good in the U.S. Open. I'll probably blind bet it, but it's a terrible number for sure. I do like Nick Hardy. He's on a bit of a heater. He won the Corn, or I'm sorry, finished runner up in the Corn Ferry event late May, and then he top 40 at the Canadian Open. Obviously played great at the U.S. Open, top 20, and then in top 10 last week at Travelers. He's doing a little bit of everywhere. I mean, decent on approach, decent off the tee, gaining strokes with the putter. So I kind of like his heater that he's on at 40-1. I think I think we both like Cameron Davis just as a player quite a bit. Um, I can swallow that with him at 45-1 in this field. I think that's pretty reasonable
Yeah,
with someone I
I
think
like that.
has pretty good talent, ball striking talent. Sometimes the putter comes and goes, but he's had a couple of good tournaments the last month. Finished third at Heritage, finished seventh at Charles Schwab. So I'll probably go with Cam Davis at 45. So Hardy and Davis, I don't mind them. Let's go 50-70, and then we'll just kind of we'll kind of sprinkle some thoughts throughout the rest of the board. Cam Champ, I think he was in contention last year at this track, if I remember. I think he was in the mix at the end of the tournament. I'll have to check that. 55-1 on Cam Champ. It's about time, though. Cam Champ just misses a ton of cuts, and then all of a sudden he'll just pop up and win. CT Pan, JT Poston, he's off a great week, and this is, in theory, a course that would probably fit his game. 55-1 as well. Doug Gim, Adam Schenk, Dylan Fratelli, Nate Lashley, the one and only Adam Svensson at 65-1, Lanto Griffin, and Adam Streelman at 65. What about Svensson this week?
I do like Svensson this week. I'm going to have him. I don't know if I'll have him on my best bets, but this is kind of, we're getting in the category where I might have a few win bets on these guys, just some small amounts. We're talking a little bit of money to win, potentially big if I can get a few of them out there. But Svensson, yeah, good, real good ball striker there, and good iron player. I could definitely see him playing pretty well here, and I think he was it a couple weeks ago. He finished top 25, I think, in last start or two or something like that. So there's some good playing there. Like you said, JT Poston, 62 in the final round of the Travelers there. You know how I like guys who play well on Sundays, carrying it over to the tournament. So whether it's first round lead bet on him, or a top 10, or even to win, he's one of the guys I might sprinkle a little bit on. I do like that Cam Champ thing. I'll have to see though if this is the event that he played well in last year, because what we talked about with the course history, knowing the greens and everything. I think that could have some value there. And then Nate Lashley, he's been playing pretty well here lately. I think what was it there? I think he finished 20 something there at Travelers. I just closed the window there, but he can be a streaky putter, but when he gets it going, he could putt the ball really well, and and if he gets those irons going, there could be a sign there, and maybe not to win, but at this point you're getting pretty good value on top 10 and top 20 bets.
Right. Cam Champ, he finished 11th last year at the John Deere, so I think he was there. Yeah, and then he won the following week, or his following start at the 3M Open. That he had a little bit of a run there. He has missed his last 4 cuts this year, but again, I don't think that matters for him at all. It really doesn't.
No.
So looking at the rest of the board, we'll just kind of name some guys we like from plus 7,000 onward. I'm kind of looking through here. You have the Steve Stricker situation. I don't think he's going to win the tournament, but I don't know. I know he had that illness, but he's been playing okay on the senior tour, I think. Top 10 maybe.
He finished second or something like that at the U.S. Senior Open last week.
I don't know. I wasn't glued in on that.
Patrick Harrington. I know Harrington won. But
I was paying attention to Lexi Thompson yesterday for quite a while.
Oh my God!
Yikes! That was tough.
Oh, I gotta get focused after that. No. Stricker though might be good for like a top 40 bet. I mean, he can make the cut here, and I think he's getting healthy. Like he had that illness that they're not discussing what it was, and then when he came back from it, he played a lot of Champions Tour events. It progressively got better. Appeared stronger, and his game kind of came back. Switched back to his old putter, and played well last week. And yeah, I mean, you could get a pretty good value, top 40 or top 30 there. So I like that name.
What about okay, I do like and he surfaced a couple weeks ago at the Canadian Open, Alex Smalley. He's had, I know he faded a little bit on Sunday, but traditionally he's someone that pops on strokes gained approach. He gained a bunch at Mexico, gained a bunch at Canadian Open. Might not be the guy that I trust to make those 8 to 12 footers we were talking about, but I don't mind the number. Anyone there in the 7 to 10,000 range? Griot.
What's that?
Griot.
Is he gonna make enough putts?
No, not at all.
No, he's not. No, he's not. Why is Andrew Putnam? What did he do recently? Why is that name jumping out at me?
I don't know.
Did he play well lately?
He was my Pebble pick, if you remember that, and then he almost won.
I know he was your Pebble pick, but
no, he's not done anything. And I mean, he's made a couple cuts, but I guess he played decent at the U.S. Open. Okay. He's 31st.
That's what it was. I saw him on early coverage that he made the cut. So I'm not gonna pick him this week. I was thinking he played pretty well lately, but no, he didn't.
Hey, if you had an argument for him, I was going to listen. I know this is going a little farther down. 130 to 1. I'm curious your take. Christopher Goddard.
Oh wow! I didn't realize that he was playing in this event.
Yeah, I mean,
really good college player.
Yeah, if we go back to
really good. I mean, this guy's going to be one of those guys that's going to come out and hopefully play well and get his card and everything like that. Is this his first event that he's playing it?
No, he played.
Did he just turn pro?
He played in the Canadian. He was at the U.S. Open and he played last week too. Let me pull him up here as we're talking. But
he did. Okay.
Played decent at least the Open and last week. But this goes back to my point. Look at the guys he's priced around: Scott Brown, James Hahn. If we're talking about, if you're betting on the ceiling of his talent, you could say he's maybe potentially mispriced at this point. It's just inexperience. But I mean, if you just continue this thought of these guys that come out of college, they're ready. So he did, he was T35 last week at Travelers, gained off the tee and approach and putting. I am going to have him on my card in some capacity. I'll probably sprinkle a win bet on him. I think that might be an interesting story. So I've got my eye on him 130.
I don't like a lot of these names lower than that, though.
I'm
telling you, man.
This is no surprise. I've circled a couple. Lee Hodges at 150 to 1. I know you're giving me that look, but he's been gaining on approach.
I just want to listen. Why Lee Hodges?
Why not Lee Hodges? Again, this was my point at the top. Like, if you have an argument for someone that has any sort of argument. So my argument is he's been gaining on approach. He's had some good finishes. 25th at the Travelers isn't necessarily like knocking down the door, but I think he almost won. Didn't he almost win at Palm Springs earlier in the season? At the American Express, yes, he T3 at American Express, no top 10s since then. But Lee Hodges, and also I'm back to Hayden Buckley at 150 to 1. I think that's a little mispriced considering he's had some solid performances this season. So I'm on Hayden Buckley as well.
What about Callum Tarrant, 200 to 1? Finished like 30th at the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
Had the lead.
Yeah, he did.
I think he's a pretty good putter too. I'm not advising people watching this shit show to bet him, but I'm just trying to figure out guys who've been playing decent lately here that are worth
something. It's Doc Redman here. Nothing going on good with Doc. Wes Bryan,
No,
Always tantalizing for me for some reason. But Norlander's really good ball striker usually.
he is a really good ball striker, but there's something though. I mean, he hasn't played. I think in the Florida swing, he might have had a decent finish, and that's about it. I mean,
He's been really bad.
He's been non-existent.
It's weird because I remember last year he was kind of like the in the last spring. I mean, he had some really good performances. Finished second at Farmers. Yeah, you're right. He's been struggling.
Yeah.
Ooh.
What's going to be weird though is I think we're going to see one of the guys. You know, we talked about Stricker, we talked about Zach Johnson, a guy like Brian Gay, and not going to win, but he's going to make the cut and finish like top 20. You know, because I think Brian Gay could still. He's a pretty short hitter now, and I know he's in the Champions Tour circuit, but great putter. I mean, putts it really well, and I know he's had success at this course before. But we're going to see those types of guys. It's just figuring out. And I think some of them are going to be these veterans who've played there before, and you know, with a little bit of the weaker field, you know, there's going to be some spots in that top 20, top 25 that you know, typically these guys can't get into, but you might see somebody like that who can do it.
Yeah, this is a pretty bad tournament. If anyone would just be like, yeah, I'm not paying attention to the tour this week, it would potentially be this one. But I always see those as opportunities. I see them as opportunities to find the diamond in the rough down the board. So same goes. I have the same theme. I love these bad tournaments from a betting standpoint. Anything else for you for the John Deere?
Nothing else for the John Deere.
Okay. We have a major on the horizon, so that will be fun to talk about. Last major of the year coming up. It's kind of crazy how quickly it goes. All right.
So fast.
Yeah, we'll get back to it next week. Johnny, thanks again, and thanks for your thoughts on the fifth major.
Thanks for having me.
We'll have the best bets up Wednesday for the John Deere, and continue to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to check out these awesome videos of us talking about tournaments such as this. So thanks for listening as always and following the podcast, and we'll see you next week.